Today's sentimental video for the 31st of March, end of month, end of quarter. Start with gold because this was our signal to sell. It is still a sell, going by the bubbles, but we did come into S1, which I thought might come into play. We had a nice healthy bounce there, and we didn't quite respect it, but we're carving a higher low here, if you can see, and we have actually nearly taken out the stop loss cluster. So and we got some bullishness as well on the small time frames. So I got out a while ago, made some good profits. 1685 was the volume node. So if you can get a volume profile on your screen, it is very, very handy. There was a node at 1685, and that's the reason that was my get out level. Whether or not it's going to be a good place to get out or continue to fall, I don't know, but we have some bullishness on the small time frames. So that's going against the sentiment. And also, one thing that also put a little bit of unease about my short was this rounding effect. If they short it, see how they're doing this? If they continue, and they continue to short it and it goes past 50%, this will rally. And then all my profit would be for naught. And I got a good entry, so I've made a really good trade. Well, we all did, hopefully, if you caught it. Yeah, 1725 it actually triggered, so yeah, that's a really nice trade. Have a look at S&P, and yeah, we're doing quite well, quite bullish. The volume node of interest is 3958, and this really should probably rocket because we've got the Biden speech today, and he's going to talk about infrastructure spending, and he's going to tax the large corporations, which I guess could be quite bullish. It'll mean more money coming into the government for spending. So, and also these large corporations should be paying more tax anyway because the small person pays a lot of tax on their wage slip. So it's only right that the companies making massive amounts of money should be taxed as well, and then it can come back into the economy. So what his strategy is actually very bullish, which I approve of, and I think what will happen at the US 500 is just going to rocket, or it should in speech marks. Because of that, we should see some risk on flow, and this is what I mean by risk on when AJ rallies. So this is in conjunction with the S&P. If the S&P comes up, AJ comes up, and we see got the signal to buy, and the sentiment says buy too. And of the two, the one above is larger, so it's even more bullish, like an indication. 84.50 and 83.99. MR1 might come into play, but we've still got a little bit more room. And I think this should do quite well. I think the yen crosses, they should be okay. And don't forget we've got the Kiwi yen as well and the Swiss yen long signals. AU, so we're in this horizontal band again. Some support here now. The one below is absolutely massive. I think this is laying in wait for NFP. I think there needs to be a risk event in order to push price down and get that. I think they're just waiting patiently, and then when the time is right, they're going to get that liquidity. So it's pretty horrible. 7580 and 7670, but I think sideways drop until that risk event, wherever it's going to be, they'll invent something and then we'll take that. We're buy and the signal center wait. EA, I'm not trading this one at the moment. I made some good profits on it, so I'm out at the moment. But we're currently in some sideways price action, as you can see. Just note the horizontal bars. Moving average trend is bearish. Signal center wait. Sell here above 154.50, 153.54. So I think sideways, to be honest with you. EU. One above 117.49, and probably you can guess where their stop loss cluster is. It's 117.000 on the dot, and it's larger of the two. We might break this line, and we will definitely do well because the dollar should depreciate on a risk on mood. So this should probably come up, to be honest. Even though it's a sentimental sell, fundamentally it could possibly do quite well. depending on the speech, of course. But yes, it's quite bearish on the sentiment, but the signal center weight. So be careful. GU, we're a buy, signal center weight. This has been ridiculously choppy. So it looks like it was a breakout, no, and then looked like it was a breakout, no, and we're coming up again to hit the resistance. So it's very, very, very choppy. It probably ideally for scalpers, I think at the moment you can't really have a positional play on that. It just would be too hard. I think if you were scalping it, you'd do quite well, but this failed breakouts and it's quite nasty. One above is quite far away, 13869, and one below 137 on the dot. Wait, buy NU. Now if this comes up, this should help our NJ. So keep an eye on the NU above 70.50 and 69.40. Sell, wait, and moving average trend's actually quite bullish, apart from the daily. So today's going to be quite important, but I think possibly sideways. But sideways is okay because we've broken that line. So we'll see how we go with that. Euro yen. I think we're going to get that, to be honest. 129.95. We're 12 pips away, so that's likely. And one below, 128.80. Buy, wait. MR1's quite far away, so you don't have to worry too much about resistance. 13034. Yeah, so and above monthly pivot, so you'd buy the dips over above. So that dip would have been a buy there, for example, because of the monthly pivot, and you would have done quite well on that move. 156 pips. Pound yen. This is a beast, absolute monster. 152.72. 150.55. Buy, and looks like they're shorting it dynamically. So it's going to be painful. We're going to get that stop loss cluster, and the next target is MR2, which is really far away. 154. So it could be painful if you're holding short, to be honest. And this has been on such a tear for a long time as well. It's been it's all above the month. We've been above monthly pivot. Yeah, tricky. And UJ above 111.10, 110.42. You see how they've moved their stops higher, and by doing so, it's making price gravitate to that liquidity. They're like, no, I don't want to get stopped out. It will come down. No, and then they keep doing it. It's got to come down, surely. And then they move their stops higher, and they move their stops higher, and it will keep going and chasing their stops until they've liquidized everybody, and then we can fall. Yeah, so 111.10. I think that's going to be likely, to be honest. This is going to rally on Biden's speech because it's sensitive to the 10-year yield, and that will probably go rocket mode as well. Dollar CAD. Sideways, as you can see, within that band, those two bands, resistance and support. One above, 126.45, and one below is 125.74. Wait, sell, and that's them guys going along. That action there, which corresponds to that very subtle shift of the longs, and so price falls. So it's very, very typical of what happens there with the retail sentiment and price action. Dollar Swiss. Now, this is a trade recommendation. Reason for it is the fact that these guys, my book, are very skewed. So that's one. MR3 is a technical justification. We shouldn't really be above MR3. Not really. And we've got the break as well. And we did wick above, but we didn't actually hold above that line, and we're back below. The entry I put on the spreadsheet is 9420, so we're currently down 9 pips, and the target's way down 9140, and the reason for that target is based on Pitchfork and Fibonacci. So if you want to know more information, then I can tell you about it, but it's all on that screenshot that I posted in the technical channel. And gold. So yeah, let's see what happens here. It's possible we might get the one below because it's quite a lot larger than one above, and if so, it would correspond to MS1 pretty much on the dot. It's like nothing really in between MS1 and the SLC. So that confluence there, it possible because we are actually a sell here. And so keep an eye on 1677, and I think we should probably bounce because we had a healthy bounce there on MS1, and we'll have new pivots tomorrow. So where the next monthly pivot, it should be lower. There's last month's, this is this month, so we'll probably project south, and so that could be bearish for gold. I'll wrap up now, and thanks very much for sticking by it again. Do appreciate it so much, and we'll make a success of the signals, no doubt. We just need them to hold on to their position and not, cut and then reverse. If they reverse, then obviously it skews the sentiment. They need to hold on to their losers and they cut their winners. And normally that's what happens. So fingers crossed it continues and we'll be successful. And I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.